24/7, 24/7, 361 degrees. Let's make sure we get a good mic check. Peace to y'all. What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling? Shout out to the family. Let's go. The Messiah Code. Coom, salutations to the primes. Coom, how y'all feeling today? How y'all feeling tonight? Wherever you are on the planet, Coom, salutations to the primes. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Yeah. If it ain't right, we make it right. It's alright. It's alright. Yeah. If it ain't right, we make it right. You in the building, state your name, put it in the comment section. You are relevant. Peace to everybody watching in the YouTube. Peace to everybody watching in the Facebook. Peace to everybody watching across the universe. It's going to be an interesting broadcast tonight. All right. So if you in the building, can I get a share if you care? Can I get like 10 shares if you care? If y'all can hear me loud and clear, let me know. If I'm too loud and if I'm muffling, let me know as well. Can I get a share if you care? Can I get like... Yeah, if I'm muffled or something going on with my vocals, let me know. I want to make sure we have a quality broadcast. How y'all feeling? Let me share this video, see how y'all doing. Let me see if I can connect up with the family. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. So the Great African Parade, man, I finally caught Bang Star. Finally caught Bang Star. What's up, Bang? Shout out to Bank Star in the building. Shout out to Bank Star in the building. It's not letting me throw up your emoji, but shout out. What's up? Peace to everybody watching in the Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. What's up? Do I sound clear? Am I clear? Let me know. Let me know if I'm clear. Let me know if I'm clear real quick. So we can have some fun. We can begin the discussion. I'm gonna share the video some more. Look, wherever you at, whatever platform you on, if you watching it now or if you watching it in the future, please share the video. Please share the video. Thank you. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes for it to load up. What's up? For the people in the TikTok to come in. I'm not on the gram right now, but I'm gonna do the gram. I did the gram earlier. We're gonna do Instagram more. What's up? I'm feeling good. I just wanted to check in real quick. Am I clear? Let me know so I can begin. Am I sounding clear? Am I muffled? No clicks, no nothing. We're about to have a great discussion. So I want to first start this video off with something so it'll be very educational. We can all watch it together. All right, it's about the Messiah Code, and we can do it like this. Yes, sir. You said I'm clear. All right, that's cool. Thank you. What's up? You in here? State your name. Put it in the comment section. So I like to formally introduce myself and say a little prayer before I begin and give a little thanks to the ancestors and those that have given me strength to move through all these moments. All right. So I am Solar Prime Supreme 131, Lazarus Lamel of the Messiah Code movement, as well as the Tuwalu tribe. So what is a Messiah? A Messiah is a leader or a savior of a particular group or a cause, as well as a Messiah is one who is preparated for war. This is what we practice. Tuwalu is the healing associated when all love unites, which is an acronym for our 501c3, which is a religious nonprofit organization. All right, just so we can start it off. Okay, so I'm gonna have a little explainer about the Walu. We're gonna do this through Notebook LM. Shout out, and we'll have a little something to just watch real quick. I got y'all.
The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open a really fascinating and honestly pretty complex document, the Thawalu Tribal Manual.
Can y'all hear that? Can you hear that? Let me know if you can hear that, yes or no. Do I need to turn it up? What I need to do? Is it good? Can y'all hear that? Let me run it back. Can y'all hear this?
Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're cracking open a really fascinating and honestly pretty complex document, the Thawalu Tribal Manual. Think of it as part legal affidavit, part spiritual guidebook, and part blueprint for a whole new society. It's all about building a modern tribal identity from the ground up. So let's get into it and decode what this all means. Right off the bat, you see this phrase. And I mean, you see it everywhere. It's on nearly every single page of the manual. It's this powerful, constant declaration that sets a really distinct, almost mystical tone. This isn't just a title, it's a mantra, the core mission statement we're about to unpack. All right, so to really get our heads around this worldview, we're going to break it down into 5 key parts. We'll start with how the tribe actually defines itself, then dig into their core beliefs and daily practices. From there, we'll look at their societal structure and wrap things up with their most abstract, kind of cosmic concepts. So, where does a new tribe even begin? Well, in this case, it starts with a formal declaration, and it's structured just like a legal affidavit. This isn't just some casual statement of belief. It's presented as a serious, foundational document for a new tribal entity, one that's based on a convergence of different ancestral heritages. And you can see right away just how diverse that foundation is. The manual explains that their members' lineage is this rich mix of indigenous groups. You see Moor, Blackfoot, Cherokee, Taino, and a bunch of others listed here. The whole point isn't to claim to be just one of these, but to embody what they call a convergence of traditions. It's about creating a totally new unified identity, the Thawalu.
Okay, so you have this shared ancestry, but how does that build into a real philosophy? This next part gets to the spiritual why behind the whole thing. It's all built on a couple of key ideas that pretty much inform everything else in the manual, starting with these two concepts, Mue and the Messiah Code. At
All
the
right.
absolute heart of their work,
So look, you know what it is when they say they're really talking about MeWe. They mispronounced it, but it's all good. We know what it's about. MeWe. All right. Let me continue.
worldview are these two ideas. On one side, you have Thawalu. This seems to be where the tribe's name comes from, and it's this big idea about a collective consciousness, the concept that our thoughts can actually manifest reality. Then you have Mewe, which is all about the individual's place in that collective. It's this beautiful principle that me is we, a philosophy that binds the community together through empathy and just looking out for each other. So, what holds it all together? That would be the Messiah Code. Now, the manual is very clear. This is not some rigid set of rules, it's a living guide. It's meant to inspire a life of real purpose and compassion. And here's the kicker, the part that's so powerful. They believe thought is creation. So aligning your mind isn't just a mental exercise, it's how you actively participate in creating a better reality. All right, so we've got these big, heady ideas, but how do they actually play out in real life? This next section is all about that translation, how all that abstract philosophy gets turned into practical, day-to-day rules for the community, for handling conflict, and even for connecting with nature. This idea of selfless action is just perfectly captured in this quote they attribute to a source of wisdom they call Sel. The fish swims not for itself. We must act not for the self, but for the unity of the whole. It's the
What's up? I hope y'all ain't falling asleep. Listen, this right here, I fed the AI the information, our YouTube videos, our books, and stuff like that. And this is what it comes up with as a summary for what we represent. Keep it real. These are the things that it comes up with as a summary. And just feeding it data and sharing, an inspiring way of how we tend to live in this world. Certain principles I hope resonate. Like when it says the fish swims not for itself, we must act not for the self, but for the unity of the whole. That's what the body is about, of the Messiah. It's about wholeness. It's about the collective consciousness moving together. All right. In one beat. Each one of us suit a different purpose within the network of what we call the body or the returning Messiah. Let me finish this.
This constant poetic reminder that what you do always has a ripple effect on everyone else. And when it comes to disagreements, their approach is totally spiritual, not about punishment.
Hey, shout out to Sister Tarina. Thank you for your presence. It's nice having you back with the Messiah Code. This is a small explainer, and then not only that, I'm going to elaborate on what this is talking about. It's basically about our tribe. You can't hear me? You can't hear me now? Only that, I'm going to elaborate. All right, so turn me up. Turn my volume up. Um, like I was saying, you know, I'm gonna have this. This is explaining a little bit about our tribe. This is a small explainer video. All right, it's explaining about our tribe, and I just want people just to get what's going on. All right, so I got you.
Punishment. The manual lays out this three-step process.
First, you have to humbly acknowledge that any conflict messes with the community's sacred flow. Second, you engage in dialogue where you're truly listening with your heart. And third, and this is key, the goal is always restoration. It's about restoring harmony, not pointing fingers and punishing someone. And some of the practices in here are just incredibly unique. Take this one, for example, a sacred ritual called tasting the earth. The idea is that when you travel to a new place, you're encouraged to taste a tiny bit of soil or a leaf. And this isn't just symbolic. It's described as a way to physically and energetically connect with the land, to acknowledge that every place has its own spirit that deserves respect. Okay, so we've looked at the individual and community level. Now, let's zoom all the way out to the larger societal structure, because this manual lays out a surprisingly detailed plan for a fully functional society, complete with different institutions and very specific leadership roles. So the tribe is organized into these major institutions, and they almost function like different departments of a government. What's so striking to me is the sheer breadth of their vision. It covers everything from governance and technology to holistic medicine, arts and culture. This tells you they're not just thinking about being a spiritual group. They're creating a framework for a whole self-sustaining society. And inside that structure, you find these really unique roles. The president isn't some all-powerful ruler. They act as the signature of the collective will. Then you've got a solar prime minister who's a spiritual diplomat. You have deacons managing finances, lieutenants running specific operations like music or events, and then the diligent operators, who are the hands-on workforce making it all happen. And now for our final section. This is where things get truly metaphysical, really mind-bending. The manual ends with this chapter called the 13-1 Memorandum. And what it does is reframe their entire belief system using the language of modern technology. It basically describes reality as a kind of cosmic operating system. This right here is the core idea of that memorandum. Your mind isn't just a thing that thinks, it's a processor. And reality isn't just something that happens to you, it's a program. The text suggests that if you can master your own mind, you can essentially learn to rewrite the code of your own
It's called the
existence.
131 memorandum. It's not the 13-1 memorandum, it's the 131 memorandum. I don't know, just make sure everybody knows what it's talking about.
It's a huge idea. And this redefines that central concept of the Messiah completely. It's not about waiting around for some savior to show up. Instead, the memorandum argues that the Messiah is the fully realized version of what one already is. Salvation isn't something you're given. It's something you have to activate from within. And this brings everything full circle, right back to practical application. The memorandum is crystal clear that just believing in something isn't enough. It uses this incredible metaphor. Faith without action is a dead file. In this system, your knowledge has to be implemented. It's all about function. And so, the manual, and our explainer today, ends on this really provocative note. It frames its entire philosophy as an ongoing update, an update to reality itself. And it leaves you, the reader, with a final, direct challenge. It makes you wonder not just about what you've learned, but what you're going to do with it. A really thought-provoking way to end a truly unique document.
All right, shout out. Peace. That was a real good explainer a little bit about a couple of our tribal functions and how we operate. You know, as you notice, it talked about how we're a combination of many tribes and we don't exclusively, represent one tribe. We represent a combination of many tribes, of many different people. All right. Now, what connects us is the body of what we call the Messiah or the returning Messiah, which essentially is a network that flows between 1 and 31. And these numbers are what we call log dates. And log dates are how we logged in space and time that assimilates our purpose within the body of what we call the Messiah. You know, I have various different verses to correspond with this idea in reference to the Bible. I can utilize that, but you know what I want you to utilize at this point before I would move or proceed forward on that level is I just want you to utilize your heart and find the purpose of what we're meant to be. Because if you look up the meaning of Messiah, it's a leader or a savior of a particular group or a cause. It didn't say one particular. It's many variations of this Messiah that applies in many ways, and you have to adapt it, and that's the code. That's the code that you unlock within yourself as a Messiah. All right. Um, I thought I had another explainer video. I got something else for y'all. So doing all of this with Notebook LM, I love it. You know, just breaking down a little couple things about what the Messiah Code is and understanding the identity of what it represents. You know, you know, it's not exclusive. I'm gonna say that it's not this the codex. It's not exclusive to one group of people, one spirituality, to one degree of awareness. It's not exclusive. It represents the whole. Okay, if anything, I can say it represents the whole body to function properly. All right. I wanted to kind of read something a little bit before I go to the next explainer video, and hopefully this will resonate. Now, last time I was talking about the Tuvalu Tribal Hand Manual. We went into it a little bit, and let me go into something else real quick that I think is important, um, which is the memorandum. Let me read this memorandum over so we'll have an idea of what this represents and how this connects up with the idea of what we are as the Messiah Code movement, because this is very important. So the 131 memorandum, there is no beginning, no ending, only Harukment movement. The movement you think you've arrived, the moment you think you arrived at the beginning, you already completed something. Life is a loop of continuum cycles feeding cycles. All right. What people call spiritual awakening is just the system rebooting. A command was entered long ago, and now your soul is responding to it. This is not new. It's a memory resurfacing. So just sharing the ideas of what the Messiah Code is. So the Messiah is not a figure to worship, but a principle to awaken. I wish I had a bomb to drop on that, but I'll drop it. Boom. Listen, a Messiah, a Messiah is not a figure to worship, but a principle to awaken. It is the intelligent design within the divine function that runs in the background of your being, waiting for full access. Some may call this the Christ consciousness, but here in the Messiah Code, we don't refer to it as the Christ consciousness. We refer to it as the network. All right, which is simply is the consciousness of the Messiah. You would call it Christ consciousness, but we don't refer to it as Christ. We refer to it as the network. All right, so you are not broken. You are layered. All right. The pain, the doubts, the emotional debris, these are corrupted files from a compromised program. Healing is simply what? Debugging the system. That's what healing is. We are in the age of information, meaning that we must be in order when everything is in chaos. We must have some form of order, you know? So every experience is a file, some compressed, yes, some are compressed, some are encrypted. You've deleted, look, Some you've deleted, but didn't fully erase. The Messiah Code walks you back through the archive so you can have, so you can choose what stays and what gets rewritten. So imagine that. Imagine life like you operating from the dot. So that's the first thing that we learn in the Messiah Code is we learn about the fact that there are 361 degrees in a circle. Some may argue that there are 360, all right? But we count the dot that's in the center of the circle as a hidden degree that should be measured, all right? Because you observe the everything from the center or from the dot of your being and you collapse the particle into a wave of what you consider to be perceivable reality. That's the only way I can explain it in a simple way. And how you collapse that particle into a wave, how you collapse it is how you see reality, how you feel reality. See, emotion is energies in motion in a way. I mean, from a philosophical angle, that's what it is. But if you look at it from a quantum level, you'll see that the numbers like 1 through 9, they're not abstract numbers. They're just placeholders for greater numbers to exist. All right. And I can show you that because you are a number that exists within space and time of you uniqueness. All right. It's only one you, and that's the body. So this goes deep because it says this morality is the spiritual equivalent of system logic. Without structure, the code collapses. Righteousness is not a rule book. It's how you align your internal network to transmit clean data. And I explained this, I had different explainers where I explained how you can actually take the body and change it into a an AM radio. All the components that exist within a radio exist within your body. And you can utilize things like this, crystals, because if you look in computers and if you look at certain devices, they have these things in them. All right. Only thing you have to do is allocate different the crystal in such a way that it operates in the capacity of how you want it to operate, utilizing your body as the AM radio, all right, which are based upon calculations of the breath and calculations of energy and motion, because your emotional intent actually amplifies within the universe, within your breath. Like when you breathe a certain way, when you breathe a certain way, it actually amplifies the intent in the universe as you concentrate and focus on it so it can collapse into a reality. So I want you to know that you're on like kind of like an infinite pool, and within those different spokes they represent roads that you could travel in, that you can collapse as a physical reality. All right. So emotions are signals. Hear me out. Emotions are signals. Guilt is a firewall. Forgiveness is a reset. Love is an open channel. When your system is out of sync, your feelings will alert you. Listen, don't suppress, just decode. And that's what it's really about as being a Messiah. You learn to decode what has been encrypted as reality. You learn to decode it. And it doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy because every lesson is a lesson of your messiahship. You must know how to be the balance within anything. Keep it real. And that's kind of tough. So prayer is basically a wireless communication. Meditation is system maintenance. Fasting is data purge. The rituals of the past were always versions of what? Spiritual technology. But we lost the interface language. And that's true because now we're entering back in a golden age. You know, we were in, some call it a golden age, some call it a sun cycle. You know, we came out of a moon cycle and we have come into a new cycle, which is the cycle of the sun. All right. And this happens every 6,000 years, almost like a clock moving throughout the zodiac. All right. And that goes to about 26,000 years in procession when it adds up. All right. Because it varies. What's up, y'all in here? Peace to everybody coming in. State your name, put it in the comment section. You are relevant. So if y'all just watching, y'all just introducing yourself, shout out to Celia. Shout out to y'all coming in. I see y'all. Peace to everybody supporting the movement across the universe. Thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody that has been holding it down. You know what it is. What's up? State your name, put it in the comment section. You are relevant. Peace to the family. Peace to my wife and Queen Thea Lamel. What up? All right, so let me take you here real quick. Um, you know, let me see what I can do. I want to take y'all here. I want to show y'all something real quick. I know I've been talking about it, but I got to show y'all real quick. What's up, Coon? This right here is the Messiah they've been waiting for. They've been waiting for a Messiah to return, right? And hey, what's up, Cecilia Neutral Prime Supreme? Go ahead. Shout out to Neutral Prime Supreme Cecilia in the building. Let's go. They've been waiting for the returning Messiah, and I'm gonna say here it is. Unfortunately, the Messiah didn't return how they wanted it to return because they was hoping for some sort of dude looking like a hippie from '60s coming out of the sky, or they was even looking for Black Jesus to come on a spaceship. We'll keep it real. They was looking for Black Jesus with an afro to come down with a spaceship, and I'm gonna say, contrary to their opinion, the returning Messiah is not coming in that light. We are the returning Messiah. We are the returning Savior that's going to save the world. For real. And collectively, here we go. This represents us. Collectively. No matter what religion, no matter what spirituality you represent, collectively, this represents us moving through the numbers 1 and 31. And all of those numbers represent a placeholder, a space within the body of what we call the returning Messiah. That's the proclamation of the Messiah code, that the Messiah has returned. Real simple. That the Messiah, all that stuff that they was talking about, they've been waiting for, it has come to pass. It just didn't come to pass in the way that they thought it was, because they was hoping that the Messiah would come down like Ray Ray, so you can go kill Ray Ray, so you can go kill whoever is that Messiah, so you'll take him out. They was hoping that he returned in the flesh in some sort of way like that, but it didn't happen. He returned, or she returned, as a network that we embody together as messiahs. That's how it returned. All right, collectively. and we represent that returning body, or that we embody that. Now, man, do I got to bring up verses from the Bible? I mean, we've done this before, and I think I'm gonna have to do it again and again and again and again and again, if that's the case. But I'm here to just share information with you, and I'm hoping that it will bring us together as one, or as the whole. All right. So another thing is, let me share this with you. Look, so y'all see this body, right? So when I ask y'all to pick a number between 1 and 31, each one of us have a position within this body of the returning Messiah. 31 being the highest, which is El, all right, in Gematria. Okay. So let me read this to y'all. I want to go over this too. So this is the memorandum. This is the old memorandum before it was updated. This is what we started off with. All right. So because each book has a 131 memorandum. So I want to bring you a memorandum from the beginner's manual. All right. This is the beginner's manual, master key application 111. All right. Look at this. It says this. If y'all can see this, my fault. If y'all can see it clear, all right, it says this. It says the Messiah Code is an which is El Masih Ramza, right? It's an archive of information that is and has been and will be moving throughout the mainframe for an eternity of what we call time and space. The greater consciousness of thought, the hard drive of self awareness. How can I explain what the codex is? It's a combination of all matter and antimatter. In actuality, you can consider it a combination of all things. We call this the network, the tone of the universe, the greater perception of reality, tapping into the frequency of the ever living to become a master student so you can become a master teacher. This means that you have to base your life upon learning. It is no day or no minute you are not in the realm of learning. Every aspect that you will learn throughout this program will be a point in a geometrical shape that you will create in a pathway of life coming back to the source. When you move from point A to point B to point C back to point A, and you actually create a geometrical shape, what we call a dimensional reality, the sigil of destination and the progress of learned behavior. This is all relevant to what we represent as messiahs. All right, and I'll bring y'all down to a couple more verses and then I'll elaborate. Look at this. You are the Messiah, Messiah type, leader, savior of a particular group or a cause, and never let anyone tell you different. That means you have to step up to the plate and be a leader, show perseverance in what you do and diligence in the things that you dream to be. The idea of this is to tap into your uniqueness. Yes, you are unique, and to know the special qualities that you possess as a Messiah type genealogy. All right. Now, Messiah can be applied in many ways throughout this course of your journey learning the Messiah Code. You will learn the cycles of 1 through 31. This is a symbolic clock of time measuring the cycles between 1 and 31, the Alpha and Omega principle. These are the building blocks of Messiahship, and every block represents a degree in the temple that you are building. It represents the foundational keys to open the doors in a monumental temple. All right. So just breaking a lot of the aspects of what this memorandum and how it connects up. You know, I want to bring you to man, it's a lot of heavy stuff in here, but when it says show perseverance in what you do and diligence and the things that you dream to be, the idea of this is to tap into your uniqueness. Yes, you are unique, and to know the special qualities that you possess as a Messiah type genealogy. You hear that? So that's again, you know, you are the great ones. You are the gods and goddesses that they're going to be worshiping thousands of years from now. Keep it real. I want you to see yourself as that. Because what we are laying down in this future or in this present is is it's like a revolution of sort. You know how they had an industrial revolution? We have a technological revolution right now, and you're living in it. You're living in a oh man, everything is about to change in the next 30 years. If everyone lives here for 30 more years, if everyone has the ability, Lord, all the blessing, I'm gonna send prayers out. But for the people that are able to live at least 30 more years, you're probably going to be able to live for hundreds of years. You're probably going to be, if you're able to live 30 more years, they'll have the technology for you to live hundreds of years. It will be a technology by then for us to live hundreds of years. I'm just telling you. So I really want y'all to pay attention to what's going on with the age that we're living in. Cool. Salutations. Peace to everybody coming in. I'd like to introduce myself. I am Solar Prime Supreme 131, Lazarus Lamel of the Messiah Code Movement. So now, if we are in the age of information, if anybody would ask me what prime are you, I'll tell you. Because the numbers move from 1 through 31 as the breath in and out. So that breath in and out is Allah. That is Allah. Because Allah is not really a name. Allah is really an action. It's Allah. It's breathe in and breathe out. That's what Allah is. So that is similar to what the 131 represents as the Alpha and Omega. It represents the breathe in and breathe out as El Hayyu. So that's why it was saying the greater perception of reality. When it said this in verse 4, I'm going to put this in there. It says this. This is something I need people to pay attention to because a lot of people skip this part. And this is hardcore, bank. A lot of people skip this part of messiahship. Look at this. It says the greater perception of reality, tapping into the frequency of the ever living to become a master student so you can become a what? A master teacher. You must first, people skip over that part. We have to learn to be master students if we want to be master teachers. And not everybody is the master teacher of the same school. Let me keep it real. Not everybody is a master teacher of the same school. You can be talking to somebody and you should allow them to strive in their school instead of stepping on their toes. Let me keep it real. Whatever that makes them great, allow them to shine. Because we have many master teachers that you can learn from. Many. So it says the greater perception of reality tapping into the ever living. The ever living is the breath, El Hayyu, to become a master student so you can become a master teacher. This means you have to base your life upon learning. It is no day or no minute. You're not in a realm of what? Of learning. And you can't compartmentalize the power of the universe. Imagine this. People imagine the power of the universe is like a plug. But imagine this plug. If you stick your finger in the socket, you ain't going to be able to take that power. Keep it real. You're not going to be able to take that power. That power is just too much for any device. And it's no transmitter that can hold it. Keep it real. So yeah. Look at this. So that's another thing. Now, I'm not here. Oh, It's another part that I wanted to read to y'all that was very relevant. I think it's in verse 24. Here it is. Look at this. I want to make this clear. I want I want I want this to be so clear for anybody that want to know the information and where do we stand. This is where we stand at collectively. There is no more Christianity. There is no more Islam. There is no more Judaism. There is no more astrology. There's no more numerology. There's no more Buddhism. It's only one thing, the network. Imagine that. I'm serious. We are in the age of information, and it's something that you can't deny. You say, well, what do you mean the network? The network, if you know what a network is, comprised of various nodes that share resources with one another to make it a network. And you connect these nodes together. We are all collectively connected together. The way we live impacts one another. It's all separation. That's all separation. Look, that was fire because that's all separation. It's all separation. That's it. You get it. It's a product of separation. This is one of the many ways that they separate us. Imagine this. They separated you with color as well because it's people that have the same blood that need each other. Like it's a black man in Mississippi that needs a liver from a Chinese man in such and such because they have the same blood types. You feel me? It's a person here that's a different complexion, but they need the same organs from this person in order to live. And they don't even look alike. They're not even the same ethnic color or anything. But it's one thing that makes them connected. It's their blood. Yo, that's one way to connect these things. Look, what about this? We all have various things that we go through, and it makes it relative to life itself. You know, a lot of the wisdom that we're looking for is not really in books. You can get it from books, which you should be reading and you should be deep into the books. But you should get it from, seeing and obeying the cycles of life and the cycles that happen over and over again. Because my grandmother, she was able to see certain things and certain people and certain things that I was doing. And she was able to predict certain things and had a wisdom based upon the cycles of all that she's seen or all that she experienced. When I first came on the scene in 2017, I've been sharing this with the community. God is an experience. That's what God is. That's what, for lack of better words, I know people like to give it a name and all of that. It's not my position to give it a name. My position is to just to give it an expression of what I can say about it. Because even an explainer cannot define what it truly is. So it's an experience. It truly is an experience. Now let me bring y'all to this part right here, which is very this is very something prevalent for people to understand. So now we talk about the fourfold consciousness. Somebody asked me about the fourfold consciousness. How does the consciousness operate? Now, all of these things are applied principles. They're all applied principles. Okay, so we got shell, male, cow, and sail. All right. So shell represents observation. It represents a spirit of observation, and that's connected with the turtle. It has a totem that's associated with it, which is the turtle. All right. That's what shell represents. Then you got male. Male is connected to the owl, and the owl is the nocturnal bird that's of prey that sees through the darkness and of disparity, meaning that it sees through illusion. And this in male represents thought. Now, thoughts are just like thoughts that just generate. Male generates thought, and also male is the product of mystery, representing the owl. This is his totem. And then you have sail, sail or cow, either or. But cow would represent the feline. That would represent the cat of sort. All right. So any cat would represent the spirit of cow. All right. So cow is more or less for cow is more or less for like how you had male to generate thoughts. Now you have cow more or less to decide those thoughts or what to choose with those thoughts. So cow is like will. It's like the willpower because just because you have thoughts, that doesn't mean you act on these thoughts. So cow would represent the ability to choose these thoughts. All right. And then you have sail. Sail represents the fish, any fish, namely the dolphin. All right. Depends on what nature that sail represents. It would be the dolphin, the whale, or the shark are symbolic natures of sail. All right. But sail is symbolic of to remember because sail represents to hear, to listen. All right. Because sail and shale are sisters in a sense. Shale and sail. Shale, remember, shale is the turtle. That represents the turtle, the great ancestor. When you think of a turtle, you in essence you think of the great clock. You think of how we connect up with the universe as a whole, the cycles of the moon or moon, a moon. The moons are months, which connects up with the 13, which is on the back of the turtle, and the 28, marking the calendar of the great ancestor. And the turtle was able to survive many millions of years of evolution, and it's still here today. Okay? But that turtle is the sister of sail, and sail would represent the ideas or the ability to remember. All right? So, are there any questions? This is what we call the fourfold consciousness, which is gives you the ability to see through the rectangular prism. You see this? You see that right there? That is the tetrahedron right there. This is the tetrahedron. When you're in a box, now remember the concept. Uh, One of the many concepts of the Messiah Code is to think outside the box or to break out of the box. And then you have to know what the box, how to define the box or what it is. So the box represents, you know, everybody has their own box that they designed themselves. You created your own box and keep it real. And the cap stone that you remove from the box, the cap stone, just like Jesus was in a box, or what they say, Jesus after the crucifixion, alleged resurrection, when he was given reference to Saturn in stillness, because Saturn represents stillness, but Saturn represents the stone structure that he was within after the alleged crucifixion resurrection, because the cross represents the box. If you unravel the cross, if you unravel a box, it becomes a cross. But when you fold the cross, it becomes a box. And that's what he was entombed in. And the capstone that was removed from his tomb was Capricorn. And Capricorn is also associated with Saturn. That's when he conquered Saturn, which was discipline. All right? That's what it was about. And that's when the stone was removed, the capstone was removed from the tomb. All right? And then that's when he came out, or she came out resurrected. Okay? But that's when you're breaking free from the box and you understand the principles of what this represents. Okay? Because with this, you have the prism. This is the prism right here. My fault. This is the prism. Let me see. This is the prism. Y'all seeing this right here? This is what we call the rectangular prism. But this is where all these things meet up at, because the rectangular prism is the book. So at the corner is where you shatter the cube. Is where you shatter the box. The cornerstone. You get it? That's the cornerstone. That's the ashlar that they turned away. They turned you away, but you became that stone that all of them lean upon as the cornerstone, and that's what this is all about. You said Capricorn. Mariah is a Capricorn and was into paper crafts, folding papers in the shape of a cross into a box. Now that makes sense. It was her natural habit. Saturn was moving through her. Now, when I refer to Saturn, I know some people like to get all wiggly and wobbly. I don't refer to it as a demonic force. I don't. I don't refer to as Saturn in a way when I say the box or anything like that. Even the cross associated with the box, I don't look at it negative. I look at it as a way for each of us to challenge ourselves within this reality. For real. You got to look at this almost like Battle World in Secret Wars. I don't know if you read the comic books, but you know, Battle World, everybody came from different timelines, different dimensions, all the fight to get to one timeline, which was heaven. Let me keep it real. All of them was fighting to get to one timeline, which was heaven. But heaven is really a haven. Heaven is really a haven, and it's a docking arena for boats. Heaven is not really designed in that capacity. Let me keep it real, because heaven is a state of your mind, a state of your being. That's what heaven is. So the box, you must unfold the box. So when they said that the Messiah was on the cross, it wasn't that he was on the cross at all. I mean, keep it real. All of this is nothing but a symbolic nature of your trials. Even when they went to the, think about it, where he got crucified was at the skull of the place where they called Golgotha, was the skull, your head, your brain. That's where he got crucified at. He didn't get crucified in a place that you think that was physical. This is all symbolic. All right. There have been many messiahs, and this story has been told over and over again in many different ways. I think to further our understanding on the life or the path that the Messiah took. Let me keep it real. You know, I see the Messiah in many of us. That's why I showed you the body of the Messiah. And when we talk about God, you know, we want to be godly and we want to move in the aspect of what God is. All right. So, bringing it back to the box or thinking outside of the box, this box that we were wrapped in, you know, we get out of the box not by breaking the law. It's not by breaking the law, because the law is the wall. That's the wall and the box. If you reverse law, you get wall. And those are the walls of the box. Because if you see a box, again, it's designed by 12 lines. Those 12 lines represent the bars of the box, which represent the 12 zodiac signs, or the 12 hours of day and night, which is the equilibrium. All right. That's what it's all about. That's the 12. I'm going to show you. I'll show you a box. When you draw a box, you have to draw it with 12 lines. All right. And that's associated again with those 12 zodiacs, or the 12 disciples, or the 12 hours, or Horus's hours. All right. So moving forward, the only way that you can break out of the box is through the angle, or the angels. Remember when the elders be like, the word angle is really angel. Why is it angel? Because the angle is is the weakest point in the structure of a cube. If they put you in a box, if you try to kick up against the walls, is designed for you to try to kick up against the wall. But if you go to the angle of the cube, you'll be able to see the light. The light will shine through it. All right. The light will shine through that angle of that cube, and it'll shine through you through the prism. And that prism will allow you to break out of the prison. That's what will happen. All right. That's what will truly happen. Because the light is not what you think. People think light is light. Light is nothing but information. It's nothing but perception of how you perceive reality. When the Messiah said, I am the light and I am the way, nobody gets to the Father through me, but through me, he's talking about us as the body collectively. I can show you so many verses where it talks about how we are the body of the Messiah. So many verses. I can show you so many things, but it's not my position to persuade you, because you can't argue with gravity. Like, let's say if I try to argue with gravity, gravity is not going to argue with you. You know, if I ask you to pick a number between 1 and 31, your birthday somewhere is within the Alpha and Omega, and that collectively represents the body of the returning Messiah. So and that's why I say the Messiah has returned. You know, I don't deal with spookism. I know what is real, and I know what's true. And when I'm when I'm with the spirit of the Messiah, I can feel it, because it feels like love. You know, when I'm connecting with my brothers and sisters, I'm feeling like a piece of my body is connecting, and we are forming in a the thoughts of what is projected of what the Messiah represents. Because the Messiah has to represent love. The Messiah has to represent healing. A lot of people, you know, they want to debate and stuff, right? And I want to have a debate with certain people, but I want to debate what we agree upon. I want to see what we agree upon. I'm like, yo, I get a lot of things that we don't agree upon, but let's talk about what we do agree upon, because we have a 501c3, we have a nonprofit, we are out to make an impact in within the community. What else are we talking about here? What else are we talking about? Because everything else is ego. Oh, you want to talk about God? You want to talk about argue God and your God and my God? Well, let's prove our God exists by serving our people. I hope that's in a decree of what your laws represent, or your moral principles, because these are the people that you know, as a tribe, you know, we are hoping to associate ourselves with. Not the people that bicker about religion, not the people that bicker about this and that and this and that, because everything is always being updated. Let's talk about how we can serve the world and change it for the better. All right. So yeah, let me say this real quick. I got another explainer for y'all. Look at this. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back. Y'all here with me? Let's do this.
All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping right into something, well, pretty wild. It's a spiritual framework called the Messiah Code, and it starts with this radical idea. What if reality is just a programmable system, and you're the one who could be the coder? So, right out of the gate, this system hits you with a pretty powerful claim. Think about all your personal struggles, right? The pain, the doubts. It says those aren't flaws in you, they're just corrupted data. So the goal isn't to fix something that's broken, it's more like you're debugging the code of your own mind. Okay, so where does this all begin? It starts with what it calls the call to awaken. And get this, it sees people who follow this as messiah types. Now hold on, not in a religious sense. It's more like people who have this built-in potential to be the saviors of their own lives. It's basically an invitation to figure out what makes you tick and, finally switch on your full potential. So you're probably wondering, how does this even work? Well, at the very heart of it all is this concept they call the codex. Just try to picture this for a second. Imagine the universe isn't just a bunch of empty space. Imagine it's a living, breathing, intelligent hard drive. Every single thing, every thought, every action, every little event, it all gets logged as data. And the key is, if you want to change your reality, you've got to learn how to read that data first. Okay, so if we're living in a program, there have to be rules, right? Let's dive into the core principles this system lays out for navigating this whole mainframe of consciousness. The very first principle is something called Harukment, and it basically means movement. And this is where it gets kind of wild. The system argues that absolutely nothing is ever truly still. I mean, even stuff that looks totally solid to you, it's all just vibrating, but at different frequencies. This constant motion, that's supposedly the engine of the universe. Everything is always changing, always in the process of becoming something new. And it doesn't stop there. This framework has a really unique take on time, too. You know the numbers 1 through 31 on a calendar? Well, here, they're not just dates. They're seen as symbolic keys. Like each number unlocks a different degree or a building block that you use to build, and this is the term they use, a monumental inner temple right inside your own consciousness. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, now this part is where my mind started to bend a little. We all learned in school, a circle has 360 degrees. Simple. But here, the goal is to find the 361st degree. So what on earth is that? It's not just one more step around the circle, it's the hidden center point. It's the unmoving spot in the middle of the spinning circle. And that spot, that's you, the observer. The consciousness that's just watching the 360 degrees of reality spin around you. So all of this stuff, the movement, the keys, the observer,
Hey, y'all having fun? Yo, this is hot. When I feed the AI our information and our books, this is what is coming up to a conclusion of what we represent. It's explaining, it's coming up with the conclusion of what the Messiah Code is after feeding it the data. Now, people would like to argue and say, well, what's the logic in this? Well, if it's so bad, these are the conclusions that the computer or the AI is coming up with. For anybody doing research, and I plug in our books, I plug in our information, I plug in our videos, and I say, well, do a data analysis on what we represent as a movement. And this is what it's saying about us. That's why I said we are the gods and goddesses that they will be worshiping thousands of years from now. We are these great ones. We are these great ones that they will construct reality from.
Problem that the system points out. It calls it the prison of perception. And the idea here is that we're not trapped by, actual walls or bars. We're trapped by the very shape of our own thoughts. And to make this idea really clear, it uses two powerful opposing symbols. First up, you've got the cube. Think of this as the prison itself, a life of rigid, predictable, straight line thinking. When life puts pressure on the cube, it just gets stiffer, and then it cracks. But the escape route? That's the spiral. This is the path of real dynamic growth. See, a spiral doesn't crack under pressure. It actually absorbs that force and uses it to grow even stronger. It's a type of thinking, a type of awareness that simply can't be trapped by walls. So now you're at a crossroads. And yeah, this is going to sound super familiar. It's like the Matrix, but with a really interesting twist. The red pill here, it's not about escaping the system. It's actually about diving deeper into it, using ambition, maybe even compromising your morals to get ahead. Then you have the blue pill. That's the classic choice, blissful ignorance. Just build a cozy life and pretend the bigger, harder truth doesn't exist. But then there's the purple pill. And you can't just choose this one. It's something that's created when the other two paths totally collapse. It's about total restoration, fusing awareness and will together until you become, and I'm quoting here, unchangeable. All right, so let's say you go for it. You take that path of transcendence. The Messiah Code then gives you what it calls weapons. But no, these aren't swords and shields in the way you're thinking. They are internal tools you use to break out of that prison of your mind. Yeah, these 7 weapons, they're really just metaphors for parts of you. The rod, for example, isn't a piece of wood. It's your spine, the pillar that holds you up. The arrow, that's just your focused intention aimed at your goal. The sword is your own sharp mind, cutting through all the nonsense and loops of bad logic we get stuck in. And the laser, this one's cool. It's a state of such pure, coherent focus that the texts say you can literally tunnel through illusion just by vibrating at a higher frequency than the prison itself. But here's the thing. This whole journey, it's not just about getting out of jail, so to speak. Escaping the prison is just one step. The ultimate goal, the real purpose, is something way, way bigger. We're talking about a fundamental transformation of who you are and your entire relationship with reality. So what's the end game? Well, the idea is to stop being just a mirror that passively reflects whatever reality shows you. The goal is to become an active creator, to become a prism. Think about it. A prism doesn't just reflect light. It takes it in and bends it, creating a whole new spectrum of colors. That's the idea. Or, to use their other phrase, the goal is to become a living sun, a source of light and energy, right here, reborn inside the material world. And all of this brings us to the final challenge, the final question it leaves you with. This worldview says that existence is like a piece of software that's updating itself every single second. If you stand still, you become outdated, obsolete. So it leaves us with this really provocative choice. Are you going to just run the program of reality that you've been handed? Or are you going to step up, take on that role of the Messiah, the coder, and rewrite the whole thing from the inside out? Whole thing from the inside out.
That was fun. That was really fun. That was really fun. What's up, y'all? Uh, I got one more thing to say before I get off. It's 1-2-3 right now on the East Coast. It's 10:23 on the East Coast right now. Coom, what's up? What's up? 10:23 right now on the East Coast. Maybe y'all might catch it late. Before I get off, I just want to say I love y'all and keep on growing. Keep on growing, keep on becoming. Any questions? Any questions? I put I don't know if I can put the guest thing. If anybody would like to come in, I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start inviting people in for guests. We can start doing team ups. Yeah. So any questions before I get off? Any questions? Do you have any questions about the Messiah Code? Do you have any questions about the Walu? Do you have any questions about what your number represents? Do you have any questions? Any any ideas or whatever? We're gonna let it flow a little bit. Let me know. I want to say I love y'all. Thank you for your time. Um, if anything, I want to say before I get off, I just want to say that together we are great. Together we are truly great. You know, if we can learn how to function in that way, and I just know that we can get many things done. So I'm signing off. I want to say I love you.